If Ankita Chawla has to create an internet conspiracy, what would that conspiracy be? One of the most nuanced answers I've sort of gotten on this question, because I ask this question more for myself than for anybody.
Calm down before you stress up the groove. The energy a little different when the blessings accrue. Hey, who you talking to? Just know I ain't no regular fool. Could be anything in the world, but I can never be you because I stand tall like a
कभी सोचा कि तुम्हारा जो इंस्टाग्राम पेज है वो तुम्हें एक बहुत ज़्यादा हाई पेइंग जॉब दिलवा सकता है? अंकिता चावला डिड एग्जैक्टली दैट सम इयर्स अगो एंड शी गॉट अ जॉब एट डिलॉयट. तब से लेके अब तक अंकिता हैज़ डेवलप्ड इनटू अ मैसिव पर्सनल ब्रांड. एंड इन दिस पॉडकास्ट एपिसोड हमने बहुत मज़ेदार बातें करी अबाउट हाउ शी वेंट फ्रॉम बीइंग अ स्कूल का फोटोग्राफर जो ऐसे पीछे ब्लर वाली पिक्स खींचना पसंद है जिसको, टू नाउ बीइंग अ प्रॉपर कंटेंट क्रिएटर अलॉन्ग विद अ फुल टाइम जॉब. एंड दैट इज़ वॉट वील फिगर आउट कि कैसे ये दोनों चीज़ें साथ साथ करते हैं एंड वॉट ड्राइव्स हर टू क्रिएट कॉन्टेंट. ऑल्सो सीक्रेट्स एंड टिप्स इफ यू वॉन्ट टू ग्रो अर इंस्टाग्राम, ऑफ कोर्स, बिकॉज वी हैव अंकिता ऑन द शो. बट मोर देन दैट काफ़ी पर्सनल कॉन्वर्जेशन था, काफ़ी अच्छा कॉन्वर्जेशन था. वी फेल्ट सो गुड. इनफैक्ट कॉन्वर्जेशन जब खत्म हुआ, आई डेंट फील लाइक आई रिकॉर्ड अ पॉडकास्ट. आई फेल लाइक आई टॉक टू अ फ्रेंड. इट वॉज so much fun. And I'm sure you will have that fun as well. And I've heard 90% of people who watch these podcast episodes have not subscribed to the channel. क्यों? Subscribe करो यार. Also like, share and comment. I hope you like this one. Hi Ankita, welcome to the CNTC show. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm feeling fresh, and I think after a lot of prep, I'm happy to be here, dude. Finally having this conversation with all the logistics and technical difficulties. I really hope the conversation we're going to have was worth the wait.
Absolutely. I think बहुत टाइम बाद ऐसा हुआ कि एक के बाद एक कुछ ना कुछ कैंसलेशंस होते जा रहे हैं, एंड देन फाइनली वी आर सेटिंग टुगेदर. इट्स I'm feeling better now. I'm really hoping the audience like loves this podcast episode because of how much trouble we have gone to make this happen. But happy to have you here.
Yeah, to just have a muhurat निकालने के लिए, and now finally the stars have aligned. This better work.
So there's this question which we always ask whenever any guest comes. It's sort of tricky, but I'll still shoot it. If you have to describe yourself in just 2 words, what would those 2 words be?
So, a really cool person told me that the 2 words to describe me ideally would be hustle and Rani. But I think the 2 words that describe me are like, I'm not obvious. Like, I want to look for things that, yeah, not and obvious are the 2 words that I would like to use. Not hustle and Rani, because, yeah, not obvious. I do think, like, I have, like, I'm just a person who's driven by, not looking for things on the surface level, because looking at things at the surface level is the easiest thing you could do. But, how they say when you're brainstorming, like, even if you think the first 3 ideas are incredible, they will be shit, because those are the first 3 ideas anyone would have, right? So I'm always like, I try to be that kind of person who's always looking for the fifth, sixth, and seventh idea, and then try to make something big out of it. So yeah, that's me. Even with my choice of dishes on a menu, that's me in a brainstorm, and I really hope I can bring that side of me in this conversation. The 2 words to describe me would be not obvious.
Dude, so the first, what you said, right? The first 3 ideas may not be the best ideas. Is this something which you like believe in properly, or is this some like a broader idea that you follow?
Um, I mean, I can't really say if it's a broad idea that I follow, but just because, like, say, content creation and coming up with ideas is basically my life right now. I do feel it has a great impact on, my overarching belief of the way I choose things. So it's like if someone tells me that, these are the top rated things, I'm like, okay, but everyone's looking at the top rated things. Like, I want to look for the underdogs. So, like, I come from that thing that, you know what, I want to be the one to discover that, hey, there is something that was not so obvious to the human eye, but deserves our attention nonetheless. So again, I mean, it's brainstorming is something that I truly enjoy. And as I mentioned, coming up with ideas is my bread and butter. It's also like, something that helps me stay creatively satisfied outside of my job as well. So, knowing the fact that, the most obvious three ideas, the most obvious three things, no doubt, they work. But what's the fun if you always have a roadmap to, find the results?
So there's a difference, right? So there is top rated ideas and the first three ideas that a person gets. So this is I completely align with that top rated ideas always think out of the box. And I saw that reel of yours where you asked people to go to your messages and then that I have messaged you and we've had a conversation in the past. I think everybody must have fallen for that trap. How much like you must have seen a spike in people visiting your profile, na?
Oh, there was. I mean, it was nuts after a while because, first of all, that I think that is one reel on my account that actually blew up, and actually like blew up with international audiences more than the Indian audiences, and like it's something that I realized was making people look at my profile, look at my content a lot more. And like at the end of the day, it's just like me trying to tell them about the feature of Instagram bots, but in a unique way. Okay. And like I could have also made a reel about that. Hey, you know what? If you are a small business, you should set up Instagram automation. And here's how you can do it. I very well could do a tutorial, but I'm like, you know what? Like, let me create some chaos. Let me mess with people's minds.
यार वो बहुत सही था
And
यार. It blew my mind. I was like,
it was
what is this
the
creepy thing? Why is there this text on when I'm opening the message box? But there's something very interesting which you just picked up is international versus like the Indian audience. मुझे वैसे जानना है कि when you make content, is it always like keeping that global audience in mind या फिर like the desi audience?
so I mean, it's a dilemma. I'm glad you asked that question because I try to ask myself that question a lot of times, and there's no right answer. But I know when I'm picking up from a global trend, say the entire like Jeff Bezos trend. Okay, that did not have any Indian relevance. Like everyone around the world is just like using that trend to show their baby pics and now pics and show off how young they are just because they're born in 2000 or like 1999, whatever. Found that very relevant. Anyhow, um, most of the trends that come from TikTok to Instagram, which is also something that I think we should talk about in this conversation. Uh, most trends on Instagram are coming from TikTok, and I'd really like to bring this analogy. How we used to say for any Western concept from the US to come to a country like India or China, it takes about 5 years for that thing to be implemented. But like with the internet, and especially with like short form video content, the travel time of that trend from the Western to the Eastern audiences is merely 5 days. A trend that with the US is already, like showing up in Indian Instagram feeds about a week later. So, we as creators, at least I as a creator, I'm always on the lookout for these trends. Because the moment I'm scrolling through my feed, looking at a song that has popped up at least thrice in the last 2 minutes, I know it's a trend. Okay. And I need to act on it before anyone else does. Okay. You need to do things before they become cool. That's the entire principle Gen Z, I believe, lives by. So most trends are having a majority of Western relevance, but Indian trends is something that I actually am, truly rooting for because I do feel at least Instagram Reels in India does not have its own unique flavor as of now. Although there are creators out there who are, creating a niche for themselves and overall creating a niche for what the Indian Instagram content is supposed to be, even if it's cringe, it is a flavor at the end of the day, right? I do feel, there are these players out there who are, curating the flavor of what Instagram content creation in India is going to look like. Yashraj Mukhate, for that instance, is one of the biggest players in my eyes. You know, he revolutionized how Indians, like, you know, just found this, you know, independence of not having to depend on a Weekend or a Dua Lipa song to make their next reel. We have our own cultural inside jokes that probably someone in Switzerland can't copy. Even if they do, you won't get the jokes that, you know, we are celebrating as you know, a billion people numbered country. So I do think that each and every country, you know, when they come up with trends, they basically come up with inside jokes. And I really am rooting for India to come up with more of its inside jokes. In the end, it's going to make it more original in the global market, and that eventually means dominance
Right.
as
So,
a
sorry to cut
player.
you off, but actually, I want to go back to your conversation. Something that you said, that when you build an inside joke, a person in Switzerland wouldn't copy it. But that's something which is limiting, right? Because we get all of their inside jokes, but they don't. Which makes them like a global superpower of like content, but makes us like a niche superpower of, not even a superpower. Like superpower is not the right word, right? So isn't that counterintuitive? Shouldn't be popularizing our trends so much that they do get our inside jokes, and so that they actually create content.
The idea for any trend is to have greater relevance, which is why you would call it trending. A trend, by definition, is something that gains popular relevance, but for a short period of time. The keyword here is short period of time. Now, you tell me, Switzerland, of course, has like a much lesser population than India. India amounts for, you know, the one of the biggest countries amounting to the, you know, internet usage. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you tell me, if say let's take a hypothetical that a trend has a lifespan of 3 weeks. Which country do you think would be able to contribute in terms of numbers to a certain trend in those 3 weeks? Of course, the country that has the maximum number of internet usage, maximum number of Instagram users, maximum number of access to digital devices. And like, even when TikTok was in India, um, it was just considered that, you know, only tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 people are doing it. But even if you take the socio-economic aspect out of that audience, the numbers were insane. The numbers were nuts. The number of people in India who were making video content. When things like Reels and TikTok are given in the hands of Indians, we as a population crave expression, okay? And TikTok and Reels basically democratized the entire idea of filmmaking. You give you give a song, a camera, a phone, and an TikTok, Instagram in the hands of like any Indian person out there above the age of 13. That's a legal age to use these apps. You never know. These people are sitting on gold mines of content, and some of them have exploited these gold mines of ideas as well. But all I'm saying is, these inside jokes actually see the light of the day. The aim is not key, you know, other countries are also following it or not. It's all about, you know, the kind of ripple effect that thing is going to have. Like today, Jason Derulo uh, collaborated with Jalebi, and Zomato had this crazy plugin in it. Like, talk about international relevance of Indian trends. Talk about how, like, you know, Indian homegrown Indian brands like are, you know, building opportunities just with bite-sized video content, and just with, you know, these 15 to 20-second audios that keep playing on loop on just one app. So I mean, see, that's the best case scenario. But all I'm saying is that's not the compulsion of each and every trend. यशराज मुखाते का joke, which was रसोड़े में कौन था, of course, like someone in Australia or Switzerland, they need not know it. That's not his audience, okay? But the fact that, you know, the Indian audience is so much more powerful than someone sitting in some other corner of the world is what actually makes me think that Indians haven't used this opportunity enough to create trends, because I feel I'm going to use a bit of Hindi, like हम जितनी तादाद में Instagram use कर रहे हैं, like we have the power to create a lot more trends than the Americans are right now. It's just English is a much, like, you know, relevant language across the world. Yeah, but Indians are sitting on a gold mine of content, and I'm sad TikTok went away for them.
Yeah, I mean, true. And you know, there's this very interesting thing that a lot of these foreign creators, when they react to Indian trailers, react to Indian movies, or make like content around India, they get insane amount of views. I feel it's a different market in itself. It's crazy because true, and then it boils down to what you said, right? That our quantity is so much, the number of internet users, that's so much कि कुछ भी कोई भी कहाँ कहीं भी करेगा about India, we'll be there to watch it. We'll be there as audiences to like हाँ great 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 मज़ा आ गया. That makes sense. अच्छा मुझे वैसे जानना है कि यार ये ट्रेंड्स शुरू कहाँ से होते हैं, मतलब आई अंडरस्टैंड probably a part of it. So cut the popular music. I now know that companies are hashing. So for the audience, like a Warner Brothers or a Universal Music would come and actually hash. They would prepare the song, prepare that this would be popularized in reels, and then get influencers to make that trend, right? So that's one part of making trends. But still there are a lot of other trends which nobody puts money into. It just gets picked up. Now two questions. मुझे जानना है what do you think where these trends come from, and B, who choreographs all these like steps like that, what is that step, and then कौन कर रहा है choreograph, and then why is nobody getting a credit for it?
The credit bit is something that I'll come to. Honestly, to answer your question, there's no secret cookbook or a playbook or a recipe for what qualifies as a trend, but I honestly feel today's generation has a very bizarre sense of humor. Sometimes it's disturbing, but sometimes it's very interesting to see, the kind of analogies they come up with. So they'll use some audio, like, Lord recently came out with a new album, and she has that little bit in her song, "Can you reach me?" No, you can't. And most of the people are just like, using that audio to tell that, me after logging off at 5 p.m. on a Friday and my boss is trying to call me. And it's just like the context setting has become so easy with these trends, and the easier it is for people to create a little joke out of it, or say contextualize it to whatever they are doing. Say if someone has a candle business, they could honestly use it. Say if there are 10 trends currently in the market right now, they could use at least 7 of them and contextualize it to their candle business to make content around it. I do feel a trend is only qualifiable as a trend when it becomes malleable enough to be applied to almost anything and everything. It's all about how vast the applicability of it is. Like I'll give you an example. There was a reel in which, like, you have to show dance steps, dance steps to do this. So like so many dentists on Instagram, who are like quite Instagram famous in the US, they had made reels about, 5 dance steps I would teach my patients. And the first dance step was this: flossing every day. Second dance step is brushing every day. And I'm like, you know what? You can make a joke out of everything. You just like need to figure out what your talking points are, figure out a way, to keep beating around the bush while entertaining people. And as I said, no recipe to create trends, but I think the greater if you already have good reach, which I think like is a blessing in today's day and age. Not everyone has the right audience to share their thoughts. Like, I consider myself very lucky that today, if I had to create something extremely relevant, I wouldn't know if it became like a trend. Like, do you think Mamata Banerjee had any idea that parts of her speeches, like in actual press conferences, would be used as real audios? No, she did not. It's, I think that's what I'm telling you. It's all like depending upon like the generational humor, and yeah, it's kind of bizarre. Sometimes it's relevant, sometimes it's not. I unfortunately do not have a binary answer for it.
You
But
very politely roasted an entire generation.
I am a part of that generation. Excuse me, I'm Gen Z.
What's the differentiation with millennials are till 1995, is it? Or 2000?
Millennials are Gen Z. I think that anyone born after 97
Should am I?
generation
I don't want to be a Gen
years.
Z. Wait.
Okay, I'll tell you.
Okay.
So, Gen Z is anyone born from 1997 to 2012. So, anyone who's from the age of 9 to 24 currently.
Yeah.
Millennials are anyone born from 1981 to 1996. Anyone who's between the age of 25 to 40.
Yikes. So without doing an age reveal, we just told the audience that we are
Yikes
Gen
is the
Z,
exact response I was
and
expecting from your end.
I always thought I'm a millennial and I'm not like a Gen Z because I always used to roast Gen Z. Like, I'm not a Gen Z.
So, you
This
are
is,
Gen Z, right?
yeah, I am. So,
You can belong to the same generation and roast them as well. Like, I mean, no shame
that's,
in it. People are, doing questionable stuff out there. Doesn't
we'll,
mean we don't
we'll
get
talk about
to
it.
comment on it. Why do you think? Why do you think you came up with this podcast?
To talk about this.
If it's not a commentary on generations, then I don't know what it is.
Shit. Okay. But I would like to take a step back and I would like to talk about you. Why are we doing content creation? You have a corporate job and a very good corporate job. Why did we even try content creation?
Uh, wow. Content creation, although it's a
Did I,
very
did I put you in some
overarching
sort
term,
of existential crisis?
I
Like,
mean, yeah,
am I?
like it's just like when you're meeting your extended family and they're like, तो बेटा ये जो आप hobby कर रहे हो side में, ये hobby में आप करते क्या हो? I'm like, why would you put me in a position like that?
Arey, matlab, okay, I'm just gonna take a step
No, so
back now.
no, so for future references, like if I have to answer this question anytime in a family gathering, I might as well answer it now. Keep this clip with me and just like share it on my WhatsApp group. That hey, do not bring this question up when you meet me. Okay, why I'm doing content creation? To put things into perspective, I'll give you a timeline because I love giving you a timeline, and it's probably the one phrase my corporate job has taught me. It's like, to look at the origin of this entire project, let's draw up a timeline. So I started an Instagram account back in 2013. Got lots of shit for doing so when I was in school because I was a very distracted child and I had just gotten a DSLR. So I wanted to take pictures of pigeons in my balcony, plants, and pretty clouds, and put it because honestly, in 2013, that's what Instagram was about. It was all about vacations, food, and like there was no preferential like ranking of posts. If you were following someone, you would see all content. And there was a point of time in Instagram when you used to reach the end of your feed. Remember? So from that era, realizing that okay, just that one thought that if I'm putting something out, someone is seeing it. And I remember I started my account when I was in I was in 10th grade, and but in it took me 2 years to get 2,000 followers, and I was like, wow, this is a big deal. It means like someone is out there looking at my content, and I think once that thing like was that bug was in my head, I also took it with me to my college. I studied BA Mass Communication from Symbiosis, and in a field like communication, where you're also studying like filmmaking, you're studying marketing, advertising, PR, journalism. You're pretty much everything under the roof once you're in communication school, right? So, I mean, even my degree and those 3 years of college were all about studying content and content creation in a way. So, I think that also had a very big role to play. I don't think I like give it enough credit, but ever since that bug came into my mind, that had a big role to play in terms of me deciding my college degree, my internships. Internships then led to uh, jobs then led to certain projects I worked on, and eventually in the pandemic started taking things more seriously, decided that if I want to grow, I want to stick to a niche, and keeping those tangible goals aside, even from the time in 2013 when I created that account to 3rd October 2021, nothing else makes me happier than like actually taking a picture of something that I think looks good and putting it out there. Now replace that picture with a certain thought, a certain video, a certain blog, a certain reel, because so many content formats have come up in the last 8, 9 years. So yeah, it's just like I feel all of us have been content creators ever since we were kids. Okay, it's just it wasn't called content creation. It's now that it has a term, and yeah, I wouldn't be doing anything else if this wasn't a thing. I mean, I tell people I would be a music producer or a DJ if I wasn't, doing my job or this content creation, but I know that's BS. I know I would be doing this only. Nothing else makes me happy of putting it out there. And also because instant gratification, that's a big determinant of my generation. And I would be lying if I didn't tone up, it feels good. So, I mean, yeah. Don't you remember there was a time when almost everyone was getting DSLRs and like they were just roaming around with it in their colleges and
Everybody wanted a DSLR picture. Nobody wanted to know how to click pictures. Okay, everyone is like, I want that picture इसमें blur background आता है जिसमें सब ऐसे गोल blur back. Oh ho. I remember. I know, right? And the people who had that picture on their Facebook, they had, at least because I come from a small town, they had a different hype around them. Ki, oh, iska Facebook DP has a DSLR clicked. So we also want that thing to happen. You know what's more interesting about this? That you started this and now you love content creation, but this part of your life has also gotten your job. And that's how I discovered you personally through Hire Ankita Chawla. मुझे जानना है यार इसके पीछे ना दो तीन चीज़ें हैं which are really intriguing about this entire thing. It's very well a road less taken. Nobody goes and okay, let me make an Instagram page where I'll ask for a job. So before we even made this page, what was the thought? Like, did anybody recommend that probably go for another route, or were you not happy with college placements, or what was the scenario? What was going on in your head when you were planning this?
uh, honestly, I feel I've answered this question so many times. Every time I feel like I should be able to answer it like the back of my hand. But it's like every time I try to answer this question, I have a slightly more detailed version of that answer because I've just relived that moment every time I've answered this question. So I'll tell you, in my last semester of college, almost everyone had a PPO. That was a pre-placement offer from the companies they interned at. I too had a PPO from the company that I interned at, but change of heart, I didn't want to join it. So I'm like, okay, people look for jobs on their own. People also get placed, luckily. I should take that route as well because I know if I'm going to start my career, I don't want to start it on an average note. I was of that very, very firm belief. And I mean, in college, it's like you don't have your parents around you to keep pushing you. And if you're lucky enough, you have a really good set of friends to keep motivating you. I'll be very, very honest and personal here. I did not really have that. So I was like, okay, you know what? All by myself. And I was in that zone where just a really negative headspace where like I'm hating on everyone. I'm like, you know what? Like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. I'm gonna get out of this place and I'm gonna be like a lot better than what's going on with me right now. Really not satisfied with the way things were going in college. Okay. So I just used to go to lectures, not study, take a hoodie, sleep in the back seat, and come out. Um, that was like me for a big, big chunk of my last year in college. And just that dissatisfaction led to, like, you know what? If I want a job, I will email my employer, because you have to be all suited and booted when you email your future employer. And you need to present yourself in a PDF. That's what the common notion is. I'm like, okay, but what if I was in my employer's shoes? Okay, say I'm the employer, I'm going through my mails, I'm like, these candidates are so boring. I'm taking a break from this and I'm going on Instagram. And I'm like, what if I am on the other screen that my employer is looking at? So I'm like, I want to reach out to my employer where, like, he doesn't expect me to see. So I still remember sitting in my hostel room all by myself, and I remember drawing out this idea at the back of my notebook, and I had just learned how to use Illustrator. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna draw 24 artboards and I'm gonna break up one big image into 24 separate images, and then that's basically gonna be like a visual uh, resume. Like, and I'm gonna use this Instagram account's link and email it to my employer that, hey, I do not have a PDF resume, but you can check out my resume here. They're gonna click on that link and go to my Instagram portfolio. I just thought that it would be a cool Easter egg, for my employer to see, and I had zero idea that, say, it's gonna blow up or get covered. That was never my aim. Neither did I want to be like, oh, I want to create a piece of art for generations to see. Not my aim either. I was just another girl looking for a job who did not want to be paid 10,000 a month. I honestly knew I deserved something more, because being very frank, I knew I had something more in me, and I don't have a fancy explanation in this story. So went home, uh, जो structure बनाया था college में, sat at about 9 to 10 p.m. after a very shitty hostel dinner. I didn't, dude, Ayush, I'm telling you, I didn't have good coffee. So I used to just buy those 1 rupee coffee sachets, get get cold water from the water cooler in my hostel, pour some of the cold water, and pour 3 sachets of those one rupee, Nescafe coffees, mix it with spoon, cold water and coffee, and chug it. It was the most disgusting thing, but I had to be awake. So I was up till 7 designing this, and I'm like, okay, I need at least 1 hour of sleep, okay, because I need to be in college by 9, and I need to sleep a little. So I got done with this and I send a picture of it to my family. I'm like, hi, I was up all night making this. Check this out. Everyone in my family group seems zoned. I'm like, sure, very supportive of you. And yeah, 3-4 months down the line, the very thing was covered by Times Now, Scoop Whoop, Marketing Mind, India Times, and Pop XO, and Under 25. And yeah, it's also something I took with me in my job interview. And like, hey, apart from designing, apart from like marketing and my advertising background, I'm also doing something like this. So in case you want to know a little more about me after I walk out of this room, that was my thing.
I think the PR Gold Rush suddenly became your CV. It's like your proof of work that you did something, it blew up. That's what we are
Yeah,
trying to do in
it blew
advertising.
up after I got hired. So it made making a mark in my organization, I feel slightly easy, because I did have, like, my boss's boss sending her links about me. They're like, hey, isn't this girl in your team? And she's like, yeah, she is in my team. And that was just like 1 month into the job. I'm like, hey, this is nice. Okay, not bad. But yeah, now the account has done its job and it's just there for anyone to seek inspiration from. And I know quite a few people have exactly copied it. Quite a few people have, like, made their own versions of it. Some of them have done it even better. I know this guy, his name is Avkash Shah. He made a video to get hired as an intern by Cred. That went like it almost, yeah, that went that blew up on LinkedIn, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, is he Kunal Shah? He's the Cred guy, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so he commented it's pays to be good,
Hmm.
which is also their tagline.
Yeah,
And I was like, okay, that's like something on top of something is already so good. So it's
yeah. So
pretty
I
amazing.
mean, it's a thing now. It's a thing. I also had, like, universities reach out to me, and these digital marketing courses online, who were, like, teaching hire Ankita Chavla as an example of a resume, as an example of how you can use the internet to actually create opportunities instead of just looking for them. So yeah, it's crazy. But again, we don't only ride on the highs of like wins of yesterday. I do feel content creation majorly stemmed from the fact that, okay, Hi Ankita Chavla became big, but what's next for me? Like, this is a testament that I can design something that looks decent. I can put myself out in a way that sounds decent. What do I do with these skills? Content creation was also a big push from the fact that I don't want to go obsolete after people stop talking about this. So it was also from, the fear of irrelevance, which I think is also a big motivating factor for the creators of today. Why do we jump on trends? Why do we, say that, okay, talk about relevant and trending topics for people? It's like, it's all about you. It's a fear of staying relevant. And I think this principle also, like, stems out in the offline world also. As we grow old, like, why do we label generations? It's the more you get out of touch of the things that are going right now, the older you are perceived to be. And especially in the digital era, no one wants to feel old. Like, even if they are, they're like, no, I'm the, cool 30, 40 something. Yeah.
Right. Asha, tell me, super off-topic question, but what inspires you in life outside of course, work in content creation? Like, what do you look forward to you, and what keeps you going?
Oh, why would you do that?
You've gone all full. Oh shit! I wasn't expecting this question to be in this podcast. Why is he not talking about Instagram? We'll get to that as well. But
I just want to have a really easy life, to be very honest. Like, yeah, I don't want things to be complicated around me, very stressful. So, I mean, I do the things I do because I either want to finish something that is pre-decided by me or by someone else who I'm accountable to, or I just want to have an easy life where uh, I'm happy, I'm at peace, I get to meet my friends, I get to eat good food, I get to do whatever I want with a decent bank balance. People know me for some good deeds, and my family is happy. That's about it. The way it translates into my work is, you know, looking, say, with Instagram, um, making content that actually is helping out people, collaborating with brands that are actually relevant to the work I'm doing, um, and with office work, like actually completing things because I mean, it's literally my job, it's my contract, and I also am a kind of person who takes up something, wants to finish it, even if I'm not enjoying the process. After a while, I'm like, okay, I just want to get done with it because I want, if anything starts looking complicated, the sooner I finish it, the easier my life is going to be. And there's this, trope कि अगर तुम कुछ मुश्किल कर रहे हो उससे character development होती है. I think that's a load of BS. Things don't have to be so censor it out so fucking hard for you to justify your success. Things can be easy for you, and you can still get to where you want to be. This entire trope of struggling so much, actually going through a painful traumatic event so that you can justify the rest and success you earn, not a big fan of that narrative. I still feel things can be easy for you, things can go your way, and you still can be happy and get the success you want. It doesn't always have to be a KBC story, this that you always have
Underdog, killing it in life, zero to
Yeah.
hero.
Yeah, this zero to, I honestly, dude, you tell me, half of the Bollywood content that comes out and half of the stories that are so glamorized and sensationalized in all these shows, DID, Indian Idol, KBC, they're all about how, in India, there's this mindset that you sort of need to be slightly underprivileged in certain aspect in life to make it big. Of course, like being middle class helps, I can't lie, it has its perks. But this entire thing about the, life has to be a little difficult for character development. Fuck no. I'm not a fan of it. Which is why, like, when I take up projects, which in the end, say, are going to get me a reward, which could either be monetary, which could either be a social reward, that is, to get more recognition, or, to even get a conversation with someone who I really look up to. Like, these are certain rewards after each and every conversation, or just the satisfaction of completing a task. Like, these are all the end goals of anything we do in life. I do feel those things don't have to be so hard as all the stories around us tell us to be. And this is something I even keep like telling like my mom, for instance, where they're like, नहीं नहीं आपको मेहनती बनना पड़ता है कुछ भी करने के लिए, मतलब struggle करना पड़ता है. I get it. I'm of course, like, you have to put in the kind of work. I'm not saying sit back with a pack of potato chips, put on a Netflix show and hoping for a few lakhs to be credited into your account daily. Chaching doesn't happen that easy, dude. Of course, work has to go into it, but
But not 15, 16 hours of work, like just working every day. Not that.
it's infuriating, this entire thing of putting yourself through so much pain, struggle, and everything to justify कि नहीं ये तो करना ही पड़ता है.
Correct. So this is what I feel, na? Because whenever somebody has some hardship, the why becomes very easy. मान लो my hardship is that I don't have money, and this is a completely hypothetical scenario for the audience. One of my family members is going through.
I have money, I'm quite rich.
No, I mean,
ऐसा मत सोचो.
I was what I was trying to say was what I was about to say next, which is like a very tricky thing. अरे यार. Okay, I'm
Go
gonna
on, go on.
rewind.
Guys, here's the podcast link, and my
Shit.
bank statement is also attached. Please don't think otherwise.
Wrong choice of words. I apologize. I was about to say that
God,
somebody's
yeah,
sick
I'm
in my
pulling your leg.
family. No, of course, but I'm like shit. Now I don't know what to say. But okay, I'm gonna take a step back. So, man, okay. So let's say somebody. I'm gonna start. Good one. Let's say somebody in my family is sick and we don't have the money and the treatment is 1 crore. You have your why right there. You don't have to think about your why and be in all like introspective mode. And by the way, for people who thinking you're figuring out your why is easy, it's not. It's probably one of the hardest things which very few people have figured out. No, matlab, it, suddenly when life gives you a why, you're like, fine, now I have a why. If you have a 20 crore loan, you don't have any option but to like struggle and earn that money, right? So suddenly the why becomes very easy, and that's actually comforting. While all those things about working hard are not comforting, finding a why becomes comforting. And all those people who are probably middle class who don't have पर्टिकुलर लाइफ स्ट्रगल्स, मतलब ऐसे नॉर्मल लाइफ चल रहा है, उनके पास 10,000 का फ़ोन है बट फ़ोन है, उनके पास इंटरनेट है, खाना है, दे मे नॉट हैव द फैंसीएस्ट ऑफ द थिंग्स बट दे आर एबल टू लिव देयर लाइफ. फॉर देम फाइंडिंग अ वाई कैन बी अ लिटिल ट्रिकी because there's nothing terribly wrong with their life. Things are okay, and okay में सब चलता है. They have good schooling, they have like that kind of a life, which in India we have a lot. So how do you then find a why?
I like, I get what you mean. I think you hit the nail on the head, which brings me to one question that I want to ask, since we're talking about the whys. Now you tell me, okay, say, I also think I come from a small town, although Chandigarh is not a small town, but I stay in Panchkula, which definitely is a small town considering light itni jati hai. You tell me, why did you start a podcast? What was your why for it?
For the podcast, for the podcast is actually easy. For my work it's not. Podcast is because I love talking to people. It's I just I don't have a reason for it, but I love listening to stories, and those stories can be in any format. I love reading books, I love watching movies, I love watching TV shows, and people are the best storybooks, right? Because they are variable. You get a just वो एक line थी ना कि you open a box of chocolates, you don't know what you're gonna get. So उस तरीके की चीज़ होती है. Whenever I talk to an individual, the conversation can go in any direction, and that really excites me. It brings me so much happiness that for me starting a podcast was the most natural thing I've ever done. And people think that business was probably the most natural thing that that came to me because of how the last 10 years of my life aligned to that, but it's actually the podcast and content. So yeah, I mean, that's my why. It brings me so much pleasure listening to people just go on about how they land, like how you went on and on about how you started making content, how you got a job. I love listening to all this. Some people find it boring, some people like, "Arey yaar, chup kar." It just brings me a lot of pleasure to know that, oh, there are so many different kinds of people walking so many different roads in life, and it's extremely fascinating. So yeah, I think that's my why, and I love it. So
Yeah, no, I just had like a very interesting observation to like, make about your answer. That when you started answering, you said that I don't really have a why, but I love listening to stories and I love listening to people. And I was like, that's your why right there. Because see, when you're talking about it, you spoke about your why for like a good 2 minutes. Now that I was keeping account, but it's like it's something that came from the heart and wasn't really dependent on any event in your life. It was something that was so intrinsic to you that when you said that you love listening to stories so much, this was the most natural thing you could do. Like it came that easily to you. And see, which is what I really appreciate about creators like you. And I wouldn't have known if I didn't have this conversation with you today that like people have these intrinsic motives, and that's honestly, I think, the purest form of motivation to work towards something apart from like all the money, all the metrics, and all the numbers. Keep them aside, because at the end of the day, it's not even about you thinking that okay, is this podcast going to do well? It's all about both of us ending this podcast with the feeling that did this conversation make me feel good or not? And most time the answer is binary. And I feel that's how it should be. And I really hope that the answer is a yes and not a no. Because I do think this conversation did give me a lot of perspective, not not just about you, but it's even when like people shared their stories with you on their podcast. I'm sure even they would be thinking that, oh wow, I had no idea I could narrate that experience, or I also like didn't know that that detail of that story existed until I was reliving it while talking about it. Like the coffee bit I told you from my like Hire Ankita Chavla creation. Oh God, dude! Like I honestly never want to relive that experience, but it's just like those details always come back to me whenever I'm talking about it. So yeah, dude, just like wanted to do a little kudos to you for having this little platform for people to share their stories, listening to them so patiently, and yeah, and also giving people something worthwhile to listen to. So for anyone who's listening, um, here is my CTA, very, very non-organic sounding CTA. But Ayush is doing some really, really cool work that I honestly look up to. So support this podcast and this content in whatever way you can.
Thank you so much. Before we end this podcast, and before we go to the final section, which is like a uh, rapid fire, just one question. Um, you've been fairly open about your life. Probably not all facets, but I've never met you personally, but from your Instagram, I could get a fair sense of your life. Is it scary sometimes that good chunk of your life is online? Not from the perspective of cybersecurity, but from like an intrinsic perspective that shit, like, I'm exposed to the world, and it's hard to go offline because then people keep messaging you, even the good ones, right? Ki, hey, we miss you, why not posting is it like a pressure, is it some kind of fear? उस सेंस में कभी बनता है या जाता है?
Of course, Jata, I do. Like, um, I've always been that person who I'm not introverted at all, extroverted. Pretty sure you would have noticed that even before you would have spoken to me. But I'm a person who's always sought expression in some way or the other. And I've been an idiot on the internet. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't been the wisest user of the cyberspace. And not that I want to emphasize on cybersecurity, but it's something that I I learned a little late in life that whatever you share on the internet, not that there's anything wrong with it, as long as you're not like bullying anyone or selling drugs or like posting sexually explicit images. Apart from those things, uh, I realized there is a line of difference between uh, what like being personal, like sharing personal content with your audience versus sharing private content with your audience. Big difference. Big difference. Personal and private, very, very synonymous to each other. But like the thing is, being personal with my audience, I think, is my superpower. Although it sometimes does go against me, but I feel if people are aware about my religious or political beliefs, I do feel it's my superpower. Of course, there are idiots on the internet who misconstrue things to frame you in the bad light. That's just the price you pay for using a free app, I feel. But I do feel I in college I used to be this person who used to be very vocal about and very angry about my political opinions, and I feel like anything that I had to do in in the form of my activism had to be documented on my story, Because I was genuinely under the illusion that it used to make an impact until I realized it does not. Going on stories, asking people to, you know, fill surveys about how they felt about this was just, it's just like you're creating noise in a void that's not amounting to anything. And I mean, Gen Z and e-activism is another topic that I wish we can, go into some other episode. But I do feel it's something that I hold a strong opinion towards, is that awareness is the only thing you can achieve by it, but it's largely ineffective. I do have political beliefs that say, Ayush, I would love to exchange with you, and I'm pretty sure even you might have. Not necessary for you to share them with me or with anyone, but I would rather share my political or religious beliefs with someone if I met them person to person, because I know these conversations are so sensitive, so important, that the internet does not make for that accommodating a space to hold those conversations. I would rather have that conversation with someone in person. Those are my private matters, those are my private beliefs. But if, say, my personal belief, which is about that, like, do, like, animal lives matter, or, like, that should you shop and not adopt dogs, or should you support creators or not support creators, whatever, like, i have I'm very open about the fact that I try to steer away from controversy as much as possible, to be very honest, because even the kind of content that I'm creating, the kind of audiences I'm reaching, some of them are fairly young. So that's me as an influencer or a content creator living up to my responsibility of actually putting out stuff that is reaching out to a fairly impressionable audience, mostly Gen Z, because I am still a very late Gen Z. My younger sister, who's 7 years younger to me, she's 16 right now. We basically come from the same generation. There's a vast difference in the way they perceive things and how quickly they make judgments about stuff. So I do feel, I mean, as it's my responsibility to hold conversations that make them think rather than feeding them narratives that I feel very strongly about. So, which is why it's, I mean, it's been a while. I've started keeping, like, my touch of talking on Instagram fairly personal, where I'm happy to share my, personality with people. That's who I am. Like, you need to know the kind of person I am in order to be able to see a bigger picture of my content, and, put two and two together. That, okay, hey, Ankita talks a lot about Taylor Swift, and, she, is going to make something really cool on Taylor Swift in her next reel. We're excited about it. Music preferences, color choices, food choices, uh, whatever. These things, personal details, completely comfortable sharing. I know, like, even if there's a worst case scenario, I can handle it. But the line between personal and private matters is something I've learned to draw over the last few years. And it has helped me maintain my own sanity immensely. I still get messages from people saying, hey, you don't post anything about farmers' protests. You didn't post anything about Shaheen Bagh. Aren't you an influencer? Shouldn't you be posting some COVID leads? And I did post COVID leads. Okay, like, not my fault. My family got COVID and I didn't have time to put more leads in the next 24 hours. It's all about तुम्हें कितना लगता है how answerable you are to your audience. I feel I am, but only to a certain extent. These people can keep texting कि आपने इस चीज पे ओपिनियन नहीं लिया, आपने उस चीज पे नहीं किया. You are not talking about how Dalit lives matter. If I'm not talking about it, does not mean I don't care about it. I'm happy to have these conversations with my friends in physical spaces. I don't think Instagram is a court of justice, and I don't think it has the space or even the sensitivity to handle conversations like these. For people who are able to make a difference, good for them. Maybe they have a great audience, but I know at least it's my responsibility if I have impressionable young adults following me. I'm not talking, I'm talking to a very intelligent and, you know, sensible crowd. But I do know a large majority of it because on internet you can get away with any hate comment, any hateful DM. And that's the immature part of the audience I'm talking to. Once I trigger that and give them fodder, it's game over for me. So that's my take on not being scared about putting my personality out there. I can put my personality out. I will not put my private beliefs out there.
One of the most nuanced answers I've sort of gotten on this question, because I ask this question more for myself than for anybody else, because in the last 1 year I've practically not shared anything, uh, but probably like a conversation for another day, and there's something which is a food for thought for me. So thank you so much for sharing that. Genuinely, I don't know if it helped the audience or not. मैं बहुत खुश हूँ. Gave me a lot of perspective.
I'm glad.
So without taking any more of your time, let's quickly jump to the rapid fire. कुछ नहीं है, just my way of feeling like Karan Johar on my show. Okay. Acha, by the way, this is like a serious rapid fire. We don't do jokes here. If you lose, then the consequences will be very, very dire. And you have to, like, it has to be like actual rapid fire. Okay?
Chop, 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 chop.
Chop, 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 chop. ठीक है. Okay. One creator that inspires you. You
Oh, shit. Ayush Vadha. Okay.
that no, Ari. Okay. One that irritates you. Come on. I'm trying to stay away from controversy is not a statement that will be valid here. Come on.
Rakhi Sawant.
Okay. Is she a creator? Okay. Guilty pleasure.
Reality TV, lots
Big
of
Bo-
food cooking shows.
Is this like Big Boss type reality TV shows?
No, actually, that's not my guilty pleasure. Dude, I add way too many things to my Amazon cart. Just too many. Too many.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thing that you hate about content creation.
Takes, retakes, app crashes, accidental deletion, so much scripting, upper lip sweat. I have to wait for hair removal before I shoot anything. So many things.
So many things.
Too many annoying things that could go on.
Okay, fair. 3 books / movies, whichever you consume more.
3 favorites, right?
Yeah. Top.
Lady Bird.
Okay.
Lady Bird, one of my favorite movies. One book that I really like is The Humans by Matt Haig.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you one more. Not a movie, can I please say a TV show? Fleabag.
Oh,
Okay, cool, yeah.
it's I love that show, dude. It's one of the best shows that I've seen. Okay. A moment that changed your life, like a pivotal moment where you realize ki, that probably shook away a lot of your beliefs.
When I was 12, 13, and I realized, oh damn, like, when you're a kid, you're like, oh, what if one of my parents died? And yeah, and then I lost my dad. I'm laughing about it right now. I'm not laughing. I mean, like, I'm telling about it very candidly. But as a kid, I used to have very bizarre thoughts that, oh, what if, like, I fell off this bus? What if, like, this guy fell off the bus? And I'm like, oh shit, all these things actually happen. I need to stop thinking about these things. So, yeah, I think that really changed the way I think. And it changed a lot of things for the better, though. So, I think I can give some credit to that.
I'm
Wow,
so
that was
sorry
a
to
terrible answer. Sorry.
ask this question.
Sorry.
Okay, no worries. I'm okay. So sorry, yaar, I didn't mean to like ask that question in the way.
No,
But
but why are you sorry? Look, see, this is what you would have not known, and I'm comfortable talking about it. So that's fine. I do think, like certain keystone events. Not that I'm saying like, oh, the trauma is what has shaped me in a way it might have, but I do think it changed the way I think, and yeah, it it really made me think about a lot of things that I felt I wouldn't have thought as a 12 or 13-year-old, and did give me some maturity, which I think has shaped me into the person I am today. I also feel it made me a little bit more creative. Dude, I am such a shitty person. I'm so sorry. My God.
no, no, it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, what's that one life mantra? Agar if you have to chant one thing to yourself, that this is what I want to live by.
What I want to live by. Shit. Most people have this answer rehearsed. Ah,
We don't do easy rapid fires.
yeah. You're not good at you're not doing a good job at like, doing Karan Johar proud. Oh, life mantra. Um, you don't have to earn your rest. I think that's one thing I still have to learn also, which is why I
You're
think
telling it to yourself, ki yes,
that is the
this.
mantra. I'm not the gold standard of this belief, but it's something I want to imbibe, which is why I think that would be one mantra.
Fair, fair. And the last question of this podcast: if Ankita Chawla has to create an internet conspiracy, what would that conspiracy be? Some rumor, conspiracy, something, or even some fight with another creator that Ankita is something.
Um, I would
Your face
that
looks
I have
like
a very
yeah. Okay. Cool.
the conspiracy theory that I would cook up about myself is that like I have a very rare condition, and if I were to like you know um if I were to deteriorate in terms of my health, only like say something like a Keanu Reeves or a George Clooney will have to donate like their blood and hair, and that's the only thing that could save me. And they probably would also have to you know send some really nice pictures of themselves to me. Maybe that can help from my deathbed.
Oh
It's a rare
my
condition, don't make fun
god.
of it.
Dude, you started off, you took so much time for that build. I was like, okay, and I was so scared that something serious would come up. And she's like, huh, it's a disease, and and only Keanu Reeves in this case. I was like, what the, dude? Okay, that was a nice way to build that up. You really, the reason I laughed is because I was like, pakka would serious, Ayush, be prepared. On how do you want to answer it? How do you think? And then. Good one. Okay. It was so good talking to you. I had a lot of fun. It it felt like a conversation, and I love those podcasts that feel like a video call conversation mode. Then hey, we're gonna do an interview today. Um, I don't know if it was the same for you as well, but I really enjoyed it.
Dude, yeah, I feel lighter after talking. I feel like whew, like someone dusted off, the mitti of my brain that had been like sitting like that for a few days. I'm like, wow, I want to like go in the outdoors, do something. And yeah, thank you so much for this conversation. I really enjoyed it. I don't know if you've gotten some like highlights or some bits that were relevant to the things you were expecting me to say.
a lot of things. A lot of things are pending as well, but probably some other, like part 2 episode of Ankita Chawla on the CNTC show.
Definitely, definitely.
Okay, so everybody, please go and follow Ankita on Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, wherever she's ever present in the future as well. But Instagram, where she's the most present, so go follow her on Instagram. And we also have a newsletter, so you can subscribe to the newsletter. The link is in the bio. Ankita, it was great having you on the show. Thank you so much. And as usual, जो basics होते हैं, Ankita, do you wanna say the template basics? What should people do at the end of the episode if they've reached here?
Yes, Ayush, thanks so much for having me. And if you enjoyed listening to our conversation and even found, like, that one little hidden piece of information that you are taking back from this, do support this podcast and, share this with your friends. Check out Ayush's content on Instagram and do check out my content on Instagram, which is under the handle Hustle Rani. There are more episodes coming under the CNTC show very soon, and Ayush is gonna make sure that he keeps you entertained with uh, entertaining guests. And I was going to say, I hope not more entertaining than me, but uh, that's about it. Thank you so much for listening to us. And if you've been here, we really appreciate you. Do let Ayush or me know what was the best part and the best little information nugget that you found about this episode. And we would be happy to feature some of your comments on our stories or just thank you in whichever way we can.
Awesome. Bye bye.
Bye. Thanks so much. Bye bye.